So how do we do this? Well, I'm going to focus on three very, very easy, what I think are easy to deploy skill sets. Look at them as skill sets, insights, maybe just ways of looking at things. Number one is be open to new perspectives and paradigms. And I want to share a little story with you. About 10 years ago, I was invited, I was not invited to speak, I was actually a participant in an ASTD conference in Cleveland. ASTD is the American Society for Training and Development. And the keynote speaker for that session, he was a fellow from Detroit. He was a clinical psychologist. And he asked what I thought was a very easy question. He said, what is the greatest need that people act upon every single day? What would you think, the greatest need that people act upon every single day? Well, I had just taken a course in behavioral sciences, and like many of you have, how many of you remember Abraham Maslow and Maslow's hierarchy of needs? Okay, what did Maslow say the first order of needs were that we attended to? Our survival, our safety and security. So very confidently, I raised my hand from the second row, and I said, according to Abraham Maslow, it's our safety and survival needs. And he said, that's a good answer, but it's not quite what I'm looking for. I was offended. And I had just raised my hand in front of 65 other peers. And I said, I just finished up my course in an OD over at Baldwin Wallace. And Maslow was pretty specific. He said the first order needs that we act on are our survival needs. He said, I understand. And he said, I can see why. But he said, that's not what I'm looking for. He said, the very first needs that people respond to in our society is the need to be right. I said, no, it's not. And I could hear the giggling behind me, so I very quietly sat down and said, okay. But think about it. How much energy, and especially in an organization with big personalities and sometimes big egos, how much energy do we spend on being right or trying to be right with other people? See, if I want to get better at anything, engaging myself included, I've got to go through a couple different stages. Number one, I have to have a new awareness, but I can't just have a new insight, right? Those aha moments. Then I have to learn and assimilate what I've taken in. Once I have those aha moments. By the way, how many of you have ever had an aha moment? Where do they hit you? When you're driving, anybody ever have an aha moment while you're driving? And you were thinking about it to the point where you pulled into your parking space and you could not remember the drive to work? Anybody ever have an aha moment at night and you had to get up and write it down because you were afraid you would forget about it? Yeah. Okay. So you have the aha moment, but then you have to assimilate it, right? And then what's the final thing you have to do? You have to act. You have to take action, right? Now, which of these three is the hardest for most people? Is it taking action? No. What did we just talk about? It's the new awareness, right? Because, and here's why, if I wake up most of us don't wake up every single day primed and ready to learn. What do we wake up trying to do? We wake up with this thing called life. Truth and reality, the way it is to me. And we get up and we are pre-programmed to look for life to be just the way we thought it was. So one of the things that we need to do is figure out a way to ratchet open our subconscious a little bit to allow new perspectives in. Not be that person, which was me, that has to be right. Because if we have to be right on a day-to-day basis, it basically short-circuits the learning process right from the get-go. Until we are consistently willing to get up in the morning and look for new information, look for the world to be different, look for your peers, your partners, your boss, your organization to be different in good ways, we don't give it the chance to. Okay?